to relax it. Will be better next time I try. And even if I still can't do it, yeah, you know that I'm gonna stick to it. Yes, it's all about going through it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Whoopsie, whoopsies, I made a mistake and it's okay. It's okay. Whoopsies are what it takes to get better and better every day. Whoopsies, I made a mistake and it's okay. It's okay. Whoopsies, help me look, see, I'm better at this today. Woo! Whoopsies, whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsies.
I'm a little embarrassed when I look at my drawing compared to this. I'm just not getting anywhere with this. It makes me wanna hide. Aw, don't be embarrassed. Don't hide.
You should have seen mine the first time I tried. It took a lot of whoopsies to look this way.
No one's perfect on their first day. Whoopsie.
Whoopsies, I made a mistake and it's okay.
It's okay. Whoopsies are what it takes to get better and better every day. Whoopsie, 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 whoopsie.
Well, what about this? I want to jump rope, but nope, I just can't do it.
Well, not yet. Come on and practice with me. You'll see there's nothing to it.
Whoa! Whoopsie.
Whoopsies, I made a mistake and it's okay. It's okay. Whoopsies, help me look, see, I'm better at this today. Woo!
It was only a dream, the waves of evil crashing over us. It was only a weak and faithful scream beneath the battlements. I know it's hard, we're falling off before it's too late. Wake up, my love, please don't give up on me. It's hard. Wake up.
What is up? What is up, you guys? We are back at it again. Another day of 100 days of Rootkit. Today's going to be more of a... Why is it on this screen? Well, I guess we're going to be on this screen now. Today's going to be another day of amazing 100 days of Rootkit. Hold on, I need to... But why you got to do this to me? It's nice to see you guys. It's nice you guys to be back. We're gonna be chilling today. Just chill Q&A, talking, vibing, answering any questions you guys may have from the previous week and everything that we've gone over so far up to this point. We've covered a lot. We've talked about a lot of stuff. We've dived into a lot of concepts. We finally have hit programming. And now we're going to be getting into all the fun stuff. We're going to be making a bunch of games, a couple pieces of cool software. Oh, we're going to be pushing the limits of what we can do every day. It's going to be super awesome. Now, give me like 2 seconds here to fix my screens. Not quite sure why it changed up on me here. And we want this one. There we go. Is it right now? There we go. And let's get that lo-fi music. There we go. All right. Now back onto our normal methodology. If you don't know, we are Rootkit, a nonprofit here based in the US of A. If you donate to us, it's 100% tax deductible. Let us be your tax haven, please. All right. Also, we like doing giveaways. All right. We're already doing this class completely for free for everyone, which is a steal compared to 100K on college. Do this instead. It just makes sense. It's free. It's right here. I'm live. All right. As live as any professor you're going to get. All right. Actually, more live than most professors than you'll get. Usually you'll be stuck with whatever assistant they want you guys to communicate to that week. So, on top of all this free stuff we're doing, we're giving away another free sweater this week. Why are you not working? I just tested you. You worked. Well, regardless, if you want free stuff, we give away free stuff. That we have our week 6 giveaway live right now, which is bugged out, so I'm gonna have to check that. It's gonna look very similar to this one, which we need to poll our winner for the last week, which we will do at the end of today's stream. So all you have to do is go ahead and go to our blog and then click on this link, and I'll resolve this after. Is this one gonna work? No, I don't know what its problem is, but I'll figure it out. But you just go on there and just do basic tasks like subscribe to our YouTube channel, Twitch, etc., etc. Super easy, and you can win yourself a sweater. If you like what we're doing and you want to help us out, because doing things for free is not cheap, it's very, very expensive, then you can donate to us. The first 10,000 donations are being matched 1-for-1. So super awesome. Every dollar you put in, $1 will be matched. Also, depending on how much you donate, you'll get some stickers. You can get one of our t-shirts, which I'm wearing right now, this super awesome collab t-shirt, which I absolutely love, and our epic sweater. All right, I love the sweaters too. They are super awesome. Alrighty, if you want to follow along, everything we're doing is posted on our GitHub. At least the programming stuff is not 100% on the cert, because your prereq right here is listed, and it's 2 languages, programming languages of your choice. All right, we're going to be talking about at least 2, potentially 3 programming languages plus HTML and CSS. And you can check out our tier 1 language certs to see what we're going to be basically wanting from you in regards to... Alright, that link is a little broken, but you can check out our tier 1 language certs to figure out what exactly you would need to know. So if we go over to like the Python cert, here's a list of everything for Python 3 in the Python requirements that we're going to be basically going over. Alright. Same thing with for C and Java and so forth as we move on. All right, let's see here. Let me make sure. Let me check these chats. refresh Twitch. Let's check YouTube. So what questions do you guys have for many of the previous days, the weeks that we've gone over, we've chatted about, that you guys might be a little confused on, etc., etc. All right, I see you guys in the chat now. What's up? And as always, these are, the Q&As are as long as you guys want them to be. They're basically tutor sessions, all right? We can chat, we can talk, answer questions, go over things, and it's up to you guys on how long they are or how short they are. But definitely time to use and abuse this functionality. If you have questions unrelated to 100 Days of Rootkit, you can even ask those too, all right? We're just sitting here vibing. I don't have no coffee right now. I need some though. I need some so I can stay up all night long and do all the working. There was something I wanted to mention from yesterday. How do you get your code to the terminal without using the mouse? Good question. So if we bring up VS Code, your terminal is your normal computer, and this is not what I want. Don't save. Your terminal is your computer. So this is just a text editor like we talked about. Your terminal is your computer. It's the raw way to talk to your computer. You have two ways to talk to your computer, the GUI or the CLI. So your code is already here. When you go to your terminal, you're already in the folder that you're supposed to be in. So if you do something like an ls or a dir, you're going to see that your code's already there. So you can run this code several different ways. And we went over all those ways previously yesterday. You have the plus or the play button here. You have the F5 button on your keyboard you can press. You can also click on run and then click on start debugging. And you can just type in Python space and then the file that you want to run. Python is the program we want to execute, and we want to execute it with the code we ran. So you got all of those different options. Does that clarify your question? Let me zoom in here a little bit. There was something I wanted to mention from yesterday though. Oh, what was it? It's gonna kill me now. I guess I'll just reinforce, like, this is where your creativity really comes into play. Mess with things. Make things. If you like a certain game, try to remake that game. Try to copy things. Try to just experiment. It's completely fine to experiment and fail, all right? Experiment and fail, experiment and fail, experiment and fail. There's a really good quote from the guy that runs the YouTube channel for 2 Minute Papers. All researchers, the only thing that defines a good researcher and a bad researcher is a bad researcher will fail 100% of the time, but a good researcher will only fail 99% of the time. All right, everyone, all the way up to the most elite people you can potentially think of. List them off. All of them. Every elite, high-end person, Newton, Einstein, whatever, whoever you think is the top person, they fail all the time. They're the fucking biggest losers. So don't make excuses. Be a loser. It's okay. All right? No one's gonna get on your back in computer programming about it. That's what you do. You just try, you experiment, and you see what sticks, and that's how you learn. All right? That's the biggest thing. Just keep going. Keep messing with it. Get angry with it. Figure it out with that anger, all right? Solve it. All right? That's the big thing, is just persisting and keep learning and just let yourself be taken by the frustrations. It's like they're just like puzzles basically at the end of the day. You know, you played puzzle games before, I don't know, like Candy Crush or something. This is basically it, all right? Except the results you get is a working program you could potentially sell and make money off of. Candy Crush is just something to waste your time so you can get closer to death. I mean, all right, let's see here. Yesterday you mentioned using only one quotation mark could cause issues over double quotes. What issues? I feel like single quotes are easier to use, but I wouldn't want to use them if they are more problematic than doubles. That is a good question. Double quotes are what you want to use, but you can use either or. They will both work. There are differences, I think most primarily in other languages than Python. You can pretty much get away with a lot of bad practices in Python if you really want. Again, we're in the programming world. We're in a different dimension, all right? The dimension you're used to, that you live in every day, there's laws and taxes and other crap you have to follow. In programming world, you make up your own rules, all right? You do whatever you want. So you can use single quotes if you want. The issue will arise mostly, I mean, as you can see, I'm using single quotes here. The issue will arise more so when you get to further concepts in Python, particularly when you're ingesting text data and you're trying to properly escape things. Let's see, what else? There's also some languages will take the single quotes and what's inside of it as literal, which what that means is it won't try to interpret anything inside of that string. If these all sound very foreign to you, don't worry, we're going to get on all of them in future days. If they're starting to scare you, then just use double quotes and you'll avoid most of the issues. But you can use single quotes for most of the stuff we're doing. Yeah, I get that it's easier because, I mean, we're lazy. Come on, we're lazy people. Like, to get a single quote, I just have to press the key and I get them. But I have to like go and press the shift button and then get the double quotes and just so much extra work. The last thing we could do is what you guys should always be doing, and that is Googling everything. All right, this is your job basically, is to know this. If you want to get into this field, you need to know your languages. You need to know also how to search and research and look things up. You can't get by just watching the news and taking what's said there for granted. You got to do your own research on your own behalf to cover your own behind. All right. So if we go over and see what the Python world says, double quotes versus single quotes. So again, when we're in programming world, you don't need to ask a whole question. Just put at the beginning or at the very end. I personally do the beginning for most things, the language that you're using or the program that you're using or the application you're using, and then after that, be very just brief and short, exactly what you want, not a whole sentence. It won't be as optimized. So let's see here. Double quotes for strings that are likely to contain single quote characters as part of your string. Such as this is not very, that's for standards. Not that one. Let's see here. String function is popular. Two different ways to represent strings. Strings is enclosed either in a single or double quotes. Both ways are correct depending upon the requirement. Sometimes we have to use quotes, single or double, together in the same string. In such cases, like for example, they're showing off this one, which I guess we can talk about here a little bit. Yeah, it looks like we're not really going to get an answer, but I'll tell you from personal experience, it's in regards to ingesting data. You're going to run into less issues if you just use double. Now, if you wanted to do something like, let me put it at the bottom here. My string equals it's a beautiful day. If you're using double quotes, this is fine. This works. All right. If you're using single quotes, this will not work. It will be mad at you. There is a way to escape the character here, aka make this work. That right below your backspace is the backslash. If you put a backslash there, it will no longer be yelling at you. It will no longer be mad. And we'll talk about backslashes more tomorrow. But this is basically a way to say, hey, what I'm doing after this, like, it's going to be more of a special character. There's a couple special characters here. And if you remember back to ASCII, we kind of talked about a couple of them. So these are characters you can't really necessarily type on your keyboard, but you can implement them by hand here. So you can escape quotes. You can do stuff like N or T, or what's another one? I'm blinking right now. But these will let you do cool little new things. If you're curious on what they're going to let you do, go look it up. All right, we're going to cover it tomorrow. Some of it tomorrow, more of it later on. But there's your little teaser. You can go ahead and check it out. Now, the same issue will come into play if I have double quotes. And instead of "it's a beautiful day," Bob said, "I like cheese." We're going to run into the same issue here, but you can resolve it the same way using those backslashes. But you can't use them just on the first one. You got to do it on the second one also. Everything within the original string. If you don't feel like doing the backslashes everywhere, that's where you can switch just the outside ones to single quotes. So that way everything is inside is in double quotes. But then when you start mixing everything, it just gets really chaotic and crazy. And yeah, it starts getting into a mess. There's no clear, easy way. But for compatibility with other languages, just use double quotes. It's the best practice to be in. Let's see here. What other questions we got? Feel like it holds true for just about anything you want to Google. Yes, it does. It holds 100% true for anything you want to Google. That's the pro Googling strat. There is more in-depth Googling techniques you can utilize, which I'm forgetting the proper term right now. Snow uses them all the time. I think they're a little overkill unless you're trying to look for something specific. But this should get you 99% of the way to everything you want to get to. The more specific you can be with less words, the better results. Yes, because you're dealing with a search engine. It's trying to match what you're asking to things. So if you're using less words, you're going to get more results and hopefully better results, because the odds of someone asking a question exactly like how you typed your question with the question mark and everything goes down significantly with every additional character you type. So the less characters you type, the better it is. Google's smart enough. It will do mixing and matching of your characters, of the words that you put in automatically. What other questions y'all got for me? We covered a lot of stuff, you guys. The operating system stuff is important. So if you have any questions with it, make sure you ask, because there's no way around it. You're going to run into operating system issues. You're going to deal with that stuff all the time. You're going to deal with it a lot right now if you're on Windows following along with me. And then when you get to your workplace, you're going to run into those issues more, because you're most likely going to be doing Linux. So it's going to be a different operating system than what we're going to be messing with right now. There was a // before you ran main.py when running Hello Rootkit. Was that something specific you typed or automatic? That was automatic, but it depending on how you're running your stuff, you may want to add that. Specifically, that only comes into play when if you want to execute a file on Linux machines. Why it's doing that here, if you remember, so this, you can just type in main.py and I press enter, it works just fine. But if I try to do my tabbing, because I'm lazy, I want it to autofill, it will automatically add that. And if you remember from when we talked about terminals over in the OS section, what does dot do? What does dot stand for? That would answer your question also. This is why I hammered on all those topics a lot and talked about them a lot in previous days to really hammer them home, because you're going to see them a lot as we move forward. This is going to be your relative path. It all is a relative path, even if there isn't a dot slash, but that dot means the current directory you're in, and it's a directory, so this can be treated like a folder. Wait, can you guys see? Oh yeah, whoops, that is the wrong one. There we go. Oh, are you kidding me? There we go. This can be treated like a folder, so that's why we have a slash there. Depending on where you are, you can just do a dot, but that won't work because that's going to look like if you had a dot, like the file name had a dot in front of it, which in Linux that won't work because that's for hidden files. So that's why there's a dot slash there. It's pretty common. It's a pretty common occurrence that you'll see. What other questions you guys got? Oh, that's a good question. Nah, I'm just bringing it back around because, like I said, the things we talked about in operating systems, you got to know them. There's no way around them. They will always come into play for now on while you program. Yeah, and like I mentioned several times before also, they'll be reinforced. So like know them, know they exist, and you'll get a lot of practice with reinforcing a good amount of them, particularly in making files, editing files, running files, using CD to navigate through, because you're going to have to do that all the time. What other questions y'all got? The old YouTube people are silent. Y'all okay over there? Twitch always be more lively than the YouTube crowd. Even though the YouTube crowd has like 5 times more people usually. Yeah, the questions can be over anything, including non-100 Days of Rootkit related topics. I'll give you guys like another couple minutes here to stop feeling nervous and ask your question so we can go over them and chat about it. I am in the Discord for those of you who are Discord Premium and Patreon members and you want to jump into the chat and just chat away. We can also just talk. I'm lonely. I need friends. Come chat with me. I'm hoping I won't feel sick anymore tomorrow, because today has been pretty bad also, if you can't tell. We'll see about tomorrow though. Alright, if no one else has any questions, then we're gonna, hey, your last minute here, drop some questions in. But that will pretty much wrap up. So tomorrow we're going to be getting into our first game. So if you want to follow along, there's the Python roadmap here. Again, it is on our what do you call it? GitHub. I guess the link is broken on the cert site. Sorry, the roadmap here for prereqs when you click on this. So instead, you can just look on here. I have it pinned here at the top, the Python cert roadmap. These are all the things that we'll be going over. You do not need to get the cert if you're getting level 2. Level 2 trumps all these. Level 2 assumes that you already know this stuff. So we're going to be talking right here. You can see some of the string escapes. And guess what? You don't need any chatting from me to learn about this stuff. You want to figure this stuff out? Just copy them. Copy them, put them in your Python editor, and run them. See what happens. Maybe it's cool. Maybe it's kind of lame. I don't know. You can just try them. No one's here to hold you back. All of this stuff you can just copy and run. So we're gonna go over conditions tomorrow. We're gonna go over conditions and the condition statements. So if else, and else. All right, that's the plan for tomorrow, so we can make our first game. And once we make our first game, we're gonna build upon it for the next couple of days, and we're gonna keep improving it and making it better and better, and that's just iterating on it. And that's how we go about programming. You just keep iterating, you keep improving. You make it one way, and then you're like, how can I make it better? And you make it better. And you just keep doing that till you got something crazy. So that's what we're gonna be doing for the next week. And yeah, your guys' game is gonna go from very, very basic to pretty full-fledged. We'll make first a guessing game, then we're gonna upgrade that guessing game to be even more hardcore, and then we'll I don't know what game we'll do after that. We'll eventually be making more games like, towards the end, we'll make games like Tic-Tac-Toe, card games, maybe like Battleship or Hangman. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go forward. We'll make a bunch of games. You guys can also request games that you want to see us make while we're going forward. It's totally up to you guys. All right, sweet. This is your last chance for you guys to ask any questions. If you guys don't have any questions, then we're going to... Oh, there we go. We got some more questions. You better ask your questions right now, because during the week when we're teaching, we don't have that much time to take questions. But this day is all for you guys asking your questions. All right, let's see here. We have another question. Not so much the content itself, but could you move through things a little slower moving forward, please? I try to watch what you're doing on screen while trying to follow on my second monitor, but type and talk kind of fast, sometimes asking questions in the moment. It's hard because it takes focus away. Yes, all I ask for you guys is make sure you come prepared. Make sure you have your text editor open. Make sure you have everything moving forward with the programming section. Make sure you have everything ready. Make sure you've reviewed what we talked about the day before, that if you have access to it, you grab the code that we had. If you don't have access to the code, then rewatch the video and type out the code, because we're going to be building upon the code. In typical settings, business settings where we're hired out, we have all this stuff already prepped and ready for you, so we're usually going at a faster pace because everyone's already on the same page and set up. They have their computers because we personally set up everything for them. But in this instance, we don't. So, yeah, I can definitely go slower, but just make sure you're coming in prepared also. We gotta meet in the middle here, all right? Additionally, oh, that's what I wanted to say. For you guys, I know it's more and more common in the US. I don't know about outside of the US because I didn't go to school anywhere outside the US, but your typing is important. You need to be good at typing to be a proficient developer. Even if you are a god tier developer, if you can't type very well, specifically fast, speed is what I'm talking about more so than anything else, you're probably going to be kicked to the curb, because if you can't output, then you're useless. This does require you to be able to type. Don't worry, there are lots of platforms out there for helping you learn how to type. There's no finger poking here. You need to have nice, good posture, fingers on all the keys, and looking like someone out of the movies. All right. There's plenty of typing classes. Typing games. Typing classes, typing games, a bunch of typing sites out here on the interwebs that you can learn. Let's check typing dot. So I don't know, keyboard jump. Let's check this one out. Don't make me. Oh, there's music. Nice. We're gonna go to insane because we're insane. All right. Let's see here. Top road. We're gonna go easy roads because we're insane, but we're not that insane. All right. I don't even know what this game is. Oh, here we go. Omaha. Go to Mass, Fox, Cited, Reach, App. Oh, I mistyped. And I guess that's how you lose the game. So there's plenty of these out there. Go play them. Go use them. There's also typing tests. Typing tests. Check out the typing tests. Mess with them. Measure yourself. Come back and measure yourself in another week. You need to have at least 20. That's being generous. You should have closer to 40 at a minimum for the dev space. Get used to those new keys, all right? Those new keys, that the colon, semicolon, curly bracket, the brackets, the forward slash, the backslash. Get used to those because you're going to be pressing them a lot. So yeah, that's fine. You can look at your keyboard over the next week or two, but by the second week to fourth week is when you should be getting to the like I'm proficient phase. So I mean, I don't expect anything for the next week or two, but definitely after the second week, y'all should definitely start, you know, kind of getting that muscle memory down. There is a single plant species that a wide variety of vegetables comes from. It produces kale, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, cabbage, and broccoli, which are all varieties of the same plant. Max Planck was the founder of quantum theory and a Nobel Prize winner. However, when he went, okay, I was about to say, how long is this going? Now, as you'll see,
our connections make it
are
easy
you kidding me?
to reach your investing goals.
These damn ads. Why are there so
Without
many
the stress.
ads everywhere?
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Get out of here. So 55. I'm not anything crazy. Cote has probably one of the fastest typing speeds I've ever seen in person. I've already asked him 20 times if he's okay. He has over 100. All right, all you need is at least 20, ideally 40 at a minimum. I've been doing this for years, and at a casual setting, I'm getting like 50. All right, so 40 is definitely the mean. And there's definitely, is it gonna be on benchmark here? It should tell you what like the average. Yeah, the average is gonna be 30. So the normal average person, at least according to this site, each site it's going to be different on what the average person is, but 30 sounds about right. So you want to be a little bit above the average person because guess what? This is your job. Your job is to sit at a keyboard all day in front of a computer and type. So you should be above the average. But yeah. Any questions on that? If not, let's get over here and let's do our giveaway for our sweater. Let me go and get here. Oh, by the way, I know the page isn't working, but this week's giveaway is also another sweater. So you can get yourself another sweater. 2 weeks back to back in a row sweaters, all right? We're just spoiling y'all. All right, let's see here. Continue. Where are we going? To Raffle Press. All right, let's see who won this week. Are you guys ready? Drum roll. Wait, hold on. I need to pull it up. Here we go. Drum roll. And choose. Evan has won. Evan, you have won this week. I will be sending... Oh, also the person from last week never responded, so we got to re-roll that prize too. So Evan, you have won this week. Congratulations. I will be sending you an email. What's Kotei's accuracy? Might use it as a benchmark. I think it was like at least above 90. I don't know. You can add him in the Discord and ask. But he's on some other stuff. I think he's snorting cocaine or something when he does them. But Evan, you won. You'll be getting an email here after the stream, so make sure you respond to that, all right? Or else your prize will be re-rolled, like the person from last week. They are being re-rolled because they did not get back to us. So let's go ahead and check out week 4. Week 4. What was this? All of the stickers. All right, we're re-rolling week 4 because the Skrillance person did not get back to us. So let us re-roll, and our winner is, press these buttons, Jamie. Jamie won. I feel like Jamie won before too. What is this? Jamie, you have won all of the stickers. We will be emailing you also. What do you call it? You have the next week to respond, and if not, the prize will be re-rolled. All right, sweet. Any last minute questions you guys have before we go? Again, last week's prize got re-rolled because the individual did not email us back. So Jamie, you have won last week's prize for 2 weeks ago's prize. So week 4's prize, the sweater giveaway prize, was pulled, and that was given to Evan. You have won, Evan. All right, sweet. All right, go ahead and ask a question. This is your last chance right here because we're about to end. While you ask that question, I'm gonna figure out what's going on with this this post here and why it's not showing up. View post. Results not found. That don't even make any sense. Retype this out. I've downloaded my Python file and set it up, but the terminal section, it doesn't say PowerShell for me. It says ZSH. Yes, because you're not in Windows. PowerShell is not for Windows. PowerShell is for Windows only. PowerShell is not for Linux. And you are on a Linux. ZSH is a different type of shell. We've talked about shell, which is normal SH shell. This is the original shell from way back in the day. working on Born Again was the second version of the shell. So SH is for your shell. The Born Again shell, aka Bash, is the new version. Apparently it's also clothing. So you can see Bash right here. And there are other versions of it because, again, this is the programmer world. Anyone can use any version of whatever they want. So ZCH is another one that's very popular in Mac OS world, but also picking up popularity in Linux world, which is the Z shell. Works exactly the same as everything else, it just looks a little bit different. Let me see here, does this work now? So I accidentally put Python and Visual Studio in the wrong folder. Is it possible to move it to a different folder? Yes, we learned about how to move things. I would highly recommend you checking out those commands and moving your stuff. Give me 1 second here. Alright, the giveaway is good. It's live. It's working now. I don't know what was going on before, especially with the URL was weird, but now it's working good. What's the shortcut for running the line of code instead of using the mouse? If you want to run Python in the terminal, are you using Chrome OS? Because before you said you were using Chrome OS. So now I'm confused because you should be using Replit, and this doesn't apply to Replit. But if you're on the command line, doesn't matter what operating system you are on. If you type in Python, I guess if you're on Unix, you may have to do Python 3 space and then the file you want to execute. And you got to make sure that you are using the correct relative path. If you are in a different directory, you need to navigate to the correct directory or use the absolute path or change your relative path. I'm on a Mac now. All right, so anything for Unix will work on a Mac. Also, yeah, ZSH makes sense because that's usually what gets used on Macintosh. So anything in Apple world is just like the rest of Linux. So you're going to need to run Python 3 because usually Python by itself won't work. So you have to put a 3 at the end, and then that will work. Let me bring up my Ubuntu shell. Ubuntu. The Windows terminal one. There we go. So if you see on here, if I do Python, it won't work. But if I do Python 3, it will work. That's the typical action for Python on Unix-like machines. I think it's a better functionality than Windows. Windows is just top tier garbage when it comes to this because this is set up in a way where when you say Python 3, because there is a Python 2 which you will never use. Python 2, don't ever touch it. Python 3, this also allows you, if I press my tab twice here, to then specify the version of Python you want. Python 3 will be an alias to whatever version you want to run, but you still also have the option to specify here like 3.10, and then I can run that. The Windows setup for all of this does not allow for it. All I get is Python 3, and then there's just Python. That's all I get on Windows, which is not fun. Also on macOS, you can use Visual Studio. So if you're running on Visual Studio, again, you can do it in the terminal, but you also have all these buttons that you can press and F5. Depending on your Mac, if you have the non-function key ones, you can press on the, what is it called? The touch bar. There's literally a play button on the touch bar you can press on. If you do have a Mac that is the new ones, where they removed the crappy touch bar, you will also have function keys. Let me bring up so I can see this. You will have function keys. They're there at the top. They're there along with the the what do you call it? There we go. They're right here. They're at the top. I know there's a little icon here for your little sun and turning your brightness and stuff, but if you look underneath, it literally has F1, F2, F3. There's literally a button here called the function button. Literally FN. This is going to be common for anyone with a laptop. All right, Mac just finally put them back into their laptops. If you press this FN button and hold it down, and then press the button up here that you want, you'll run the actual function button there. So, for example, F5. You would have to hold them both down at the same time. Alrighty. Did that answer all your questions? I'm not quite sure what you mean by put the Python, because Python should just be installed. You can't really put it in the wrong place. Same thing with Visual Studio. It just installs and will be in your program files. Unless you're on Mac OS. Mac OS uses the same layout as Linux. So we already talked about that before. Well, kind of the same layout. You'll have an applications folder, and so it will be in the applications folder. Again, for specific problems with what you may be having, please post in the 100 Days of Rootkit chat, because we're going to be able to help you out more. Specifically with like actual errors. So moving forward, if you guys are having errors that pop up, post them into the chat, because then we can read them fully, because these little chats here, they kind of suck. The Discord one's really good though. I'm gonna guess that answered your question, because I don't see anything else coming through. If you have more questions, just make sure you ask in the 100 Days of Rootkit chat, and we'll be able to answer them in there. And make sure you're all squared away to go. All right, sweet. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you on the next one.